Would God allow his message to be corrupted and allow men to change it? If the Torah and Gospel are true, why was it allowed to be changed? Muhammad was a prophet. I'm assuming if Muhammad was a prophet, why did he affirm both books in his day? I'm not trying to be tricky, just walk through the logic. Okay, so there are several questions here, but the first one that I want to address is, why would God allow his message to be corrupted and allow men to change it? Right? So the logic behind this is, would God allow that to happen? Right? So to that, my comment. That is an interesting fundamental question. To begin, I wish to know whether you believe God have revealed any message prior to Torah. For instance, did Noah have a message from God to the people? Are there other messengers of God that also bring the message for people? So, because I want to understand the premise first before I address and give my answer. Because otherwise, if our premise is totally different and then we are talking about the answer, and it's very hard to get a meeting point because we are talking about based on two very different premise. So let's understand the premise first. I would like to understand, because when you say would, because normally when that question, right, this question is centered on the Torah and Gospel. Would God allow this to change? But to answer that first, I want to understand, before that, do you believe in any message before that? Or this is the first time ever that God sent down message? Because if there are message before that, then the same rules should apply, right? If you say that this should never be allowed to change, the previous one should have the same rule, right? So that's the core of why I'm trying to understand. Okay. If your answer is no, so my question is, do you believe that, for example, Noah bring a message, Abraham bring a message, etc., right? So if your answer is no, I'd say that would not make sense for God to leave people without guidance for a long period of time, right? So meaning that if your answer is no, meaning that the first time God sent message to this earth is whatever in Torah and Injil, Torah and Gospel, then from Adam until before Torah, that's not making sense, right? God is not just if they just leave these people and suddenly here you have the first ever message from God. How can that be, right? So if you answer no, but if your answer is yes, would you say those message of God already got lost or corrupted by the time of Torah is given, for example? Right? So if you believe that before Torah there are messengers, and there are message. So, do you believe that these messages is still intact and we can see it somewhere? We can find whatever message before Torah and Gospel? Or there are messages before, but they are lost perhaps, or they have been corrupted perhaps. Hence, that's why we just refer to Torah and Gospel and not the previous one, right? So, I want to understand that first before I answer that question, right? Because it will relate to that. Especially if you are not being consistent. You demand, the Muslim, hey, you have to refer to this. This, God would never, let this be corrupted. Are you upholding the same logic with the previous message? And where are they? Where are the books before Torah and Gospel, right? Because that's the question that normally Christian ask to Muslim, right? So show me where is the original Torah and Injil. So we should be able to ask you also, right? If you believe in previous messages, where are they? If you don't believe there are not anything, so you have to justify. Is God being unjust? Because throughout human life, no message, and then suddenly Torah and Gospel as the first and last message, right? So okay, I'll finish this one. From Islamic perspective, Allah have given message to the messengers throughout time, since the first human being Adam all the way to the last messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and alaihi salam to all the messengers, right? Each and everyone got corrupted by human being, meaning that the message to Adam and should be practiced by Adam and the children, etc. And over time it got corrupted, right? And hence a continuous need to send another messenger to bring back the people to the pure truth. So that's why there's so many messengers that have been sent down, right? So then Idris, Nuh, Hud, Salih, etc. Right? So that we only are being given by name 25 messengers, right? But in the hadith it says there are many more. That it's not important for us to know everyone by name, but know that Allah have sent messengers to every people, tribe, etc. so that they get the message and they cannot claim God never sent any messenger, right? So but the thing is, why the need to until, for example, Moses and Jesus, right? They are not the first messenger. They come after so many messengers before, right? But why is the need for them to come? Because the previous message have either lost or corrupted or whatever, right? So if people want to find the truth, they cannot find it because whatever the truth from before is already corrupted, lost, etc., right? Hence a new message have to be sent down, right? So from Islamic perspective, a new messenger come back with the original message from before. It's not weird. It's part of the story based on what happened with human being, right? That is also what happened between Moses and Jesus, or between Jesus and Muhammad, for instance, right? So when Moses come, bring the message, somehow corrupted, etc. Jesus have to come, bring the message, corrupted again. Muhammad SAW have to come. Yeah. The only difference for the last and final message or book is that it would need to be preserved until the end. Otherwise, God will not be just to the people that were born when the message have been corrupted yet again. So in human history, right, there has to be the first and there has to be the last. It's just how it is. It cannot be, because the story will end. The story of this world will end, right? So there will be the first and there will be the last. The first is the first human, right? You cannot say that, okay, the first human, second, etc., they don't have any message. They don't know, right? Especially because Adam see, in Jannah, right? So Adam has no problem. But the son of Adam, they are born on this planet, on this world, on this earth, right? So if there's no message for them, it doesn't make sense, right? So and then afterwards, right? So that's the first, and there must be a last. So by the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the last is Prophet Muhammad SAW. So when this is the last, the message have to be preserved until the end. Previously, it's not important, because otherwise it will be, if the message is protected from day one, from Adam, for example, and the message Allah said, I want to protect and no one can ever corrupt it. So there's no need for any other messenger actually, right? Because it's protected until the beginning, until the end. But Allah let human being do things, including corrupting things, corrupting the message, etc., right? That is, and they will be punished. But to be just for the people coming next, a pure message have to come back and come back and come back and come back and come back. But of course, at the end of the story, there will be a particular prophet or messenger that will be the last, because the world will end afterwards, right? So from that point onwards, it is in a way that it can be preserved and protected, right? And we can discuss that. How is it that the Quran can be protected, right? So that will be another video if you are interested in that discussion. So that's the Islamic perspective, which makes sense. So for you, do you believe that before Torah there are messages from God to earlier messengers? And if so, what do you believe happened to those messages from God? Alright, so I'll end here. I'll proceed in another different video, because I'm interested not only from Matt 291, but for the rest of you Christians, I'm interested, what do you think about this question? Because from the comment section, I noticed that not all Christians believe in the same thing with regard to any specific things. So in this particular question, do you, as a Christian, believe that before Torah there are other messages or not? That's the first message that God ever sent down to human being, or there are previous messages? For those who believe there are previous messages, can we still find them now, or they are lost or corrupted? For those who don't believe there's any message before Torah, is that logical? Is that just? So that's the question for you, and hopefully you can share your feedback, your perspective, so that then I can, based on that, I can discuss further. Thank you for watching. See you next time.